You know, it's time I receive some appreciation for the work that I put in as far as the conscious community is concerned and as far as GMS is concerned, because I'm the one. Tupac Expert is the one that's responsible for these two powerhouses coming together. Yes, Tupac Expert is behind GMS and Saneter House of Consciousness meeting up. House of Consciousness, Saneter, GMS. This is big, folks, and I did it. I brought these two mega houses, powerhouses together. Two different worlds coming together. Although me and Saneter, nigga, I was the original person to phrase nigga. Yes, me. Even though we had our differences in the past, I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his work. It keeps me entertained. Sometimes it's good discussions. There's people he interview I hate, and I ain't gonna really say I hate, but there's people he interview I dislike, and there's some that I find intriguing and entertaining. Same with GMS. I find GMS intriguing and entertaining. You know, there's something to be admired about GMS, even though I don't agree with their religious views and their, you know, the Christianity or their religion. But I do admire them for being passionate and being knowledgeable about what they study. You can learn something from GMS. You can learn something from Saneter. You can learn something from the guys, and I admire these guys. Even though I sometimes I go off on them in the comment section, and I've made videos about them. I admire them because they have a passion for what they do, and I admire that. They have a passion for what they do. They want to change the world. They want to change. I mean, they want change. They believe in what I think they believe in what they're teaching, and you gotta admire that. They ain't hurting nobody. They have a conviction about themselves, and they're talented people. These two groups are talented people, very talented, and I admire that. I would want to be as committed, as passionate towards my profession as these guys is toward theirs. But I do deserve a pat on the back for bringing these two powerhouses together, because I'm a fan of both, and I remember when I first thought of it, I sparked the brain. I put a spark in their brain. I put a spark in their mind. Because like I said, I'm a fan of both of them. And they're two complete different worlds. But they happen to be in New York. I've been watching GMS videos for years. I never heard GMS say anything about the House of Consciousness. Never. Until I brought it up. Until I introduced them into that world. I never heard Tahar or anybody from the GMS camp mention anything about Saneter, consciousness, House of Consciousness, you know, the black conscious community. They never did that. Never. GMS never mentioned them. and vice versa. House of Consciousness, the conscious community, black conscious community, never mentioned GMS. I don't think they even mentioned Hebrew Israelites. But I know they never mentioned GMS. They might have were familiar with the Hebrew Israelites. I'm pretty sure they were familiar with the Hebrew Israelites. Saneter, I'm pretty sure Saneter was familiar with them. But he never went into their world until I sparked the mind. Because like I said, I'm a fan of both worlds, because these are two complete, you gotta understand something. These are two complete different worlds. It's almost like, you know, back in the 80s when sitcoms would go into another sitcom, like a Cosby Show would go into a different Strokes world. Punky Brewster would befriend Rudy. You know, shit like that. This is what happened with with GMS and black conscious community, the House of Consciousness. And you can tell that a lot of House of Consciousness black community fans that they're like never even heard of GMS. They never heard of GMS because how they comment, because they're pissed off at Saneter for interviewing GMS. A lot of these guys are not familiar with GMS. You know? And they're shocked about what GMS says about, you know, 12-year-olds, you know, and all this stuff. And I mean, they're just shocked. They talking about GMS and perverts and all that. They're shocked because they never heard GMS before. They never heard GMS talk about this before. I've been familiar with GMS since 2006, 2007, so I know. I'm familiar with what nothing they say shocked me these days anymore. Because I heard it all from these guys, man. And so how I brought these two groups together, I remember one day I commented on a GMS video, and I said, and I think I had just got through watching the House Conscious video, because I would swap, because I'm subscribed to both channels, and I would watch. I mean, this is what I do. If I'm not watching GMS, I'm watching House of Consciousness. If I'm not watching House of Consciousness, I'm watching GMS. I'm only watching I'm only watching one Hebrew Israelite group. That's GMS. I've been watching them for years. And I'm only watching one black community group, and that's Saneter TV. Saneter's anything affiliated with Saneter, I'll watch. But I'm not familiar with those other people. I'm familiar with Saneter and who he interviews. Okay? Sutek, Larry's kind of annoying. Polite, you know. I don't like Polite unless he's interviewed by Saneter, though. I can't take none of these guys unless they're interviewed by Saneter. Saneter is very talented in what he does. You know, even though his questions are sometimes elementary, he still has talent in how he brings people together. They call him the Don King of the conscious community. Well, he's a showman. He knows how to produce. I'm not talking about producing movies. I'm talking about he knows how to bring people together. He knows the format that they talk about. He brings up a lot of good topics to talk about. Some good, some not so good, but it's entertaining. Even if it's not a good topic, it's still entertaining. You know, he got characters, man. I mean, Saneter is like remember back in the day when you had pro wrestling, you had the NWA, you had Jim Crockett Promotions. It had a bunch of talent. Jimmy Crockett had a bunch of talent, small market talent like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Rock and Roll Express, Road Warriors. Well, that's another. He has a bunch of small market talent that's very talented, and you got to give it up to him. And it's intriguing. His channel is always intriguing to watch. And GMS the same way. I mean, they're like a small market, but they have great talent over there as well. So these two worlds are very different, and I was entertained by both. So I mean, when you're bored, when you got nothing to do, I was either watching GMS or I was either watching the House of Consciousness. Okay, so I'm always alternating between the two videos. So one day I just happened to be commenting on GMS video, and I said something to the tune like, how this House of Consciousness meets GMS. Wow, that would be amazing if that ever happened. You know, this was like about 5-6 months ago when I said that. I said that would be amazing if that ever happened. Two worlds meeting. You know, and I always commented on Saneter's videos about how you should interview GMS, or how you should go get down there and talk to GMS. And one day Saneter had a Hebrew Israelite topic, and that's when I really went in. I had another. I didn't use the Tupac Expert account. I used another account. I think I ain't gonna tell you the other account, but I used another account, and I said you should interview GMS. And Saneter responded and said, "Do you know how I can contact GMS? Does anybody know where GMS is at?" And so I played middleman. I got GMS address, where they be at, and I sent it to Saneter. I put it in the comments. I think I sent him an inbox message also, telling him where they be at. And I told him, because I don't think he was familiar with Tahar, I told him, you need to go out there when Tahar's out there teaching. Don't go out there when them young cats out there. Go out there when Tahar's out there teaching. You know, the elders. And about a month or two later, magic happens. House of Consciousness meets GMS. All because of the faithful Tupac expert, the fan Tupac expert, the loyal friend Tupac expert, the truth teller Tupac expert. All because of me. I bring these two worlds together, and I pat myself on the back, man, because I did a great job. And I'm so happy that these two worlds came together and met. You know, like I said, it's like two 80s sitcoms. It's like, this is like some vintage shit. Like 280 sitcoms crossing worlds. I mean, coming into each other's world. I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome because they so different in their philosophies and the way they think. You got the GMS that's totally religious, totally believe in this invisible man in the sky. You know, totally believe in the Bible. You know, these guys have been believing in this stuff since what? I mean, for 20 or more years, and they have a big following, almost like a gang. I mean, they have so many people all over the world that follow them. It's a phenomenal thing. And then you have that's a world in itself. And then you have the black community world, Saneter's world, where you have these guys that think they're Kemet, that think they're Egyptian, because black people in America are so fucking confused. They don't know who they are, so they think they can Egyptian. They don't know who the hell they are. They think they every other race in the world. Indian, Egyptian, shit, Zimbabwean, I don't know. They think they everything. So you got these guys in the conscious community. They go around. They being, some of them are Garveyites. Some of them are Malcolm Xites. Some of them are MLKites. All of them think they know what they're talking about. And most of them don't believe in God, don't believe in religion, despise religion. A lot of these guys, most of these guys despise it. Totally, they totally like make fun of the Bible. They're like black atheists, to be honest with you. They totally try to destroy the Bible, try to discredit the Bible any way they can. They totally don't believe in it. They think it's a book of fiction. And it's just funny how this community meets the community of the Hebrew Israelites of GMS that totally the opposite of them. So it's fun watching them interact, and this is like a Saturday morning ventures thing that went on, man. This is awesome. These two camps coming together and meeting. When Polite came down there to GMS, I'm hoping Sarah Suit said he'd get down there to meet GMS, and they just start debating. That's classic shit. That's like Sarah. I feel like a 9-year-old again watching wrestling. Shit is awesome. Wow. But that's it, man. Two big worlds coming together, clashing, meeting. It don't get no better than that, man. YouTube is awesome. Peace.